Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you here. Happy December 2025. If you're catching this when it goes live in 25. Haven't said that for since January. As we wrap up the year, we've got some really cool things for you on the show. Just recently, we opened enrollment for something called the Profit Planning Network. And today you're going to hear a little bit about Joseph's story of what that network did for him. And it's not just, a promo for the Profit Planning Network. It is also some really great advice that can help you make the future of your business bigger than its past and way less chaotic. Now, as you hear about this, I wanted to give you a little bit of the backstory before I'll pass it over to Brandon and Joseph to share their story from 2025. So if we go in the Wayback Machine to the days when we were running our first business, Overflow Coffee in Chicago, Illinois, we were being asked all the time from people. They would say, I want to do what you do. Can you help me? What would you share with me? What would you help me learn? And that became so much that we're like, we should probably charge people for this. And not just like, a consulting fee. We don't want to just, tell them what to do or whatever. But what if, like, there's this thing called coaching? What if we became coaches and really like coach them through the process rather than just give them, like a one-time thing? And so we actually signed up for a coaching certification program. I believe that was like 2017 or so when we did that. And we became certified as business coaches at that point. And maybe it was 2016. Anyway, a little while later, so when we found out we were expecting and sold that business and we were thinking about what to do next, we entered into the financial services industry. And what I found as we were learning about how to be bank on yourself professionals and help people make good financial decisions for their future and decide if, something like a bank on yourself type whole life policy was right for them or not, that the approach that we were being taught to take was very much a coaching type of process. And because of that background and what I learned from that coaching certification program, I could actually bring more of a coaching dynamic to the situation and stay far away from the salesiness, right? The used car typical salesman kind of place where I did not feel comfortable. I did not want to be like that. And it's been really fun over the last, it'll be 8 years this coming January that we've been Bank on Yourself professionals and working with people to better their financial futures. And we decided about a year ago to embrace even more coaching. We still have lots of business owners that come to us and say, I want to run my business the way you run your business. How could I do that? And rather than just having an online course or some podcasts about it where they still have to like figure it out, we're like, what if we came alongside them and did a full coaching program where we met one-on-one with them over the course of the year and really helped them implement some of the things that we do and get on a trajectory that their business is forever changed. So that became the Profit Planning Network. And we did our first, group with that cohort with it for 2025. And enrollment is currently open for Profit Planning Network for 2026. And so we wanted to kind of fill you in on what that is. If you hear about it, see about it in our emails, or you hear about it as Joseph and Brandon are talking about what it means to do profit planning. And guess what? It's not what you're going to think it is. I encourage you to really listen to this episode. Listen carefully for some of the gems that they drop for how real businesses make real profits. Actually, in Joseph's family, between him and his wife, they have two businesses that are very different from each other. And we talked about both of those businesses as we were going through Profit Planning Network. They kind of got a two-for-one deal. And you're going to hear how it's dramatically changed not just their business, but also their family. So I'll let Brandon and Joseph take it away, and I'll catch you next week on the podcast. Be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode, and visit livecounterflow.com. The link will be in the show notes so that you can learn more about the Profit Planning Network. Enrollment's open, and we'd love to see you in there. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Hey guys, welcome to Wealth Wisdom Financial. And today I get to interview as we stepped into Profit Planning Network, as we learned some of the stuff we've done in the past for our business and all the cool things that has helped us sell the business, not just close it, right, are important. And so today I get to interview one of the Profit Planning alumni, one of the people that was like listening to us and saying, wait, you guys, whatever this is really amazing. And so today I am interviewing Joseph Cadavos. Now, Joseph, he runs a real estate organization called Premier Investment Solutions. And he has 3 kids, but his wife also runs a another business, Kristen, and she is working in the med spa world. So they have 3 kids. They have a real estate thing which he's working on in the world of, man. Look at what's going on in real estate right now. It's crazy. And then she runs a med spa. So as they've jumped in, they've learned a lot, and we're going to interview him today and see where this takes us. So Joseph, thanks for joining us. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. No, appreciate that intro, Brandon. My wife runs a brick and mortar med spa down the road, about an hour from where we live. We do have 3 wonderful kids, all school age right now. And I run more of a out of our house, but kind of a crazy real estate thing, primarily wholesaling. That turns about, for the past few years, about 90 to 110 transactions per month. So what that looks like is we sign up to buy that many houses per year. And then some of those we take down as flips. Some of them we turn into rentals. Most of them we assign to other investors in Augusta and throughout the US, to be honest. So we work with to get them a set of rentals as well, or whatever. We are local here to the Augusta market. So we kind of cover the whole area, about an hour radius. So run around looking at houses, picking up kids, and helping wife with any kind of work that they need over at the spa, mainly to do with, if there's maintenance issues, I'm their designated maintenance guy. So yeah, just kind of a crazy world with all we've got kind of up in the air.
So let's go back. So you've been doing Profit Planning Network for a year, and life is busy. I hear this from business owners all the time. I'm too busy. I'm running around like this. You guys, when I hear people say I'm too busy, I'm like, well, dude, they got 2 businesses. She drives an hour back and forth to work, and 3 kids. What made you say, oh, this thing, whatever they're creating, I want to be part of it, and take us back to that decision that led you to say, I want to invest in this Profit Planning Network, and in the Neelys for that matter.
Yeah, perfect. So actually, I can't remember exactly when I ran into the Neelys. I think it was probably y'all's podcast. I'm a big podcaster, especially on the weekends when I'm, trying to catch up our housework that has gotten behind from all the craziness. I think the exact words I used when I think we were either getting interviewed by the Neelys to see if we were a fit for their program or not, or maybe it was the first few sessions, I can't remember. But I said, I feel like life is like spaghetti on a wall, like just spaghetti everywhere. And I'm just trying to weave through kind of what's sticking and what's not sticking, because it's literally like the spinning plate scenario where you're a waiter and you've got so many orders that you have to take, and you're the only person doing it, right? Because with businesses come people, and even with real estate come people, and everybody has problems, and so they always look to you as the business owner as the ultimate plug that kind of to plug the drain if there's issues. So, and then on top of that, obviously you want to prioritize direction on in order to figure out Billy's program just seemed to be kind of that North Star, that guiding light kind of thing that could help us at least maybe not take all the spaghetti off the wall, but maybe kind of start to hone down on what we need to do or what positions we needed to take in order to kind of make things flow a little better.
So what I heard, and it cut in a little bit. So you had a lot of things, and we were able to use the still method to kind of focus on what is the main priority.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. And then as you've gone through this, what are some of the biggest things that the experience, the understanding about you and your wife together, running two businesses, what has been some of the biggest aha moments that you've come out saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing, or I didn't see that before?
Yeah. So what I loved about working with the Neelys is because the Profit Planning Network, they give you basically like this book essentially, and that may seem daunting to some folks, but they don't just leave you with the material. They also check in routinely, and we have planned calls and all that to make sure that we're implementing. And once we started working through the weeds of what we had going on, we started to identify specific issues like, well, hey, time with our kids and me and my wife actually really mattered. And we didn't have any of that on the calendar. It was just like whatever was the, fire burning at the time. That's what we started doing. Now, like we literally were in a session and Brandon and Amanda were like, all right, let's Google Calendar block out time with your wife. and we have that now. That's not something that I had before. I'm kind of ashamed to say that, but it is what it is. If I'm just going to be honest, like some of that stuff was not, planned for. So what ended up happening was it didn't end up happening. So things that are important to me, I put on there in red. That way I make sure to prioritize things that are very important, right? Because if you don't have your family and you don't have kind of what you live for, like I think God has blessed us with lives in order to be able to serve other people. And if I can't do that, I'm not fulfilling my purpose, which makes all the businesses, regardless of how many transactions I do, it's all for naught. So anyway, I think that was the biggest thing. It wasn't anything specific. It was little bits of implementations, if you would, that I learned that were very important to what we needed as a family. And I needed even as an individual. And that's what was really just kind of life-changing in my opinion, as we went through their program.
I mean, that's amazing, because I do think I've seen business owners burn out or get divorced or all kinds of crazy stuff that happens, and they don't realize you could make all this money, but your kids hate you,
right?
Or all of that stuff. That is really the main thing is, why are you doing all this, right?
Right.
And so to have those things, rhythms, we call them. Now, there's been tactics, we have you do those little things, and those seem like small things, but they're big, right? Those little small micro adjustments. Tell us the AI stuff. I mean, like literally, we've been learning it ourselves, and how is that? Again, I think for us, it's like learning to think and move, but how has the AI part impacted you and the tools that we've launched and shown you as you've been doing this both businesses?
So it's funny because Brandon and I will text kind of offline, right, about it, just because we're kind of excited about what the possibilities are. Obviously, I think everybody at this point, if you're in business, has heard about the daunting coming of AI, and if you don't know how to use it, you're probably gonna get left way behind, kind of like the email and the internet when it first came out in the 60s or 70s or whenever that happened. What I found super intriguing as far as Brandon and Amanda was concerned was they were, I think, so in tune with kind of the financial, they call it nervous system. So I don't want to take your words from you, but I'll just label it for what I know it to be, that they were able to basically figure out a way to take the AI software and make it applicable to, trying to really attack how do you get to your profit, to be profitable in your business, in your personal life and all that, which is the whole goal for all this anyway. And I think I forgot to say that earlier, but that was another kind of really cool thing that had me sign up for the program. I think you see in the background there, he's got Profit First. I read that book probably years ago and opened up checking accounts, but that's kind of where it sat. The cool thing about PPN was Brandon and Amanda introduced me. Well, hey, here's how to take this macro book and micro, like actually start, transferring funds and this, that, and the other, so that you're actually using your profit as your buffer. And I think it was so cool because like I hate budgeting and all that, and they made budgeting kind of fun, to be honest. It's almost like something I hunt now, like, oh, I need to get my profit. I need to get my profit. And anyway, it's been a complete mind shift. Tying it back to AI, they were able to take all the material, the spreadsheets, I guess. I don't know how they, morphed an AI to kind of recreate their brains, but they were able to do that and show us in some of the classes we were in, if you want to call it that, how to take their, like I said, financial nervous system and tie it back to me as a real estate investor or Kristen as a med spa owner, which is super critical when you're making micro shifts. We were just talking about this earlier. Kristen, not to air out all the stuff that she's got going on, but she's got a marketing issue right now, in a nutshell, that has had, well, if you're a business owner, it'll have massive implications on the rest of your business, the financials and all that on the backside.
So basically integrating this in your whole, like, again, financial lives, understanding you using the AI has helped you understand you, which is kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to build things that help you. Because I mean, honestly, I don't know much about med spas. Hardly anything, but I know how to read balance sheets and numbers and try and see those things. And as we work as a business owner, marketing is still marketing, right? Usually it's meeting with people. My son sells Cub Scouts. He's in the Cub Scouts and he sells popcorn. And he said, the more people the more people you can sell popcorn to.
Right.
I was like, that's pretty much for any business. I don't care which business you're in. And so using that and figuring out how do we have the numbers work alongside what we're doing. I think that's super, super important. Now, as you've done this, you now have all these, like, even with AI, some of that stuff can be overwhelming. You now have this system. How is the Profit Planning Network helped you to be a little calmer and focused, even though we're dealing with a marketing challenge?
I think with what we've gone through with PPN, it's helped us realize and identify kind of what's most important. Let me answer that question two ways. It's helped us identify what's ultimately important, right? The spaghetti on the wall situation and scenario that I described earlier. But then number two, like, instead of us up against like, I don't know, more credit cards or something, more credit card debt, we now have a little bit of a buffer that we can fall into. That, like I said, I want to realize the profit at the end of, we're in the middle of November right now. I'd want to realize the profit at the end of Q4. But if we have to, we can siphon that profit out so that we're not taking out more debt.
So you were saying that you, as you've worked with PPN and doing some of the stuff, what are the things that literally changed for you?
Just two things, really. Number one, it's helped us take what I thought was spaghetti on a wall and sift through and figure out what really matters most, right? Because that in and of itself helps alleviate some of that burden. And then number two, just from a practical standpoint, we're able to designate some funds now that's profit related, right? And set that aside for rainy days instead of having to go into even more credit card debt or something.
One of the things that you have mentioned, and Kristen said this, as we were doing the financial nervous system diagnostic tool, and so you took it and then she took it, and I was able to say, oh, this is probably why you're having arguments or different things. How is the financial nervous system tool, that specific tool, not all PPM, but that tool, helped you even in your own marriage? Like, has that been a blessing? Has it been a challenge? Like what has that helped you with?
Yeah, so it's crazy how kind of everything kind of interrelates with each other, but identifying it really strengths and weaknesses even deeper than like just like a personality test, right? Understanding that,
Mm-hmm.
When Kristen is stressed, she'll do this financially, or when Joseph is stressed, he'll do this financially. It helped us be basically have like a little menu
Yeah.
of what to look for. But where I now, and as opposed to like I can be very pushy and try to get my way things, but now having that menu, like I mentioned, to be able to identify, well, no, Kristen's just stressed because this or that's going on. I can understand to just be able to have a little bit more patience maybe in the situation, because I just know maybe it's just a reaction as far as what's going on, as opposed to something that I might could potentially take personally. So, yeah, it sounds like, it sounds more like a counseling thing, but a lot of the times that's what it ended up being, was just a big focus on, well, this is important or that is important to me. And with us both running businesses and not having that communication, a lot of the times, even just the sessions in and of itself became a means where we could have clear and concise communication directed through a system that really Brandon and Amanda had already built out. So super cool.
I mean, I think that as we've seen, I don't know, 82% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. The amount of challenges, mental and emotional challenges that entrepreneurs face. And we just see the front end on Instagram or TikTok. But
Sure.
to be able to see that and see that these are marriages, right? These are kids that are there. And so as we've been building PPN, it's been more about profit planning, is not just about profit, but it's about, again, the whole person and the whole marriage, right? And so as we've thought about this, it's so important. So if you were talking to somebody, or your own self, like maybe 2 years ago before PPN, what would you tell them? Why would they want to join profit planning, and why would you say join today?
Honestly, I kind of wish we started business like I started my own business in 2019. I think Kristen started her med spa maybe 2023. I may be off on her date some. I wish I would have joined like a year after I started business, just because I was talking to Brandon about this earlier too. PPN is almost like this super condensed, like thick, like encyclopedia of financial direction. A lot of it's common sense, but a lot of it is really these micro adjustments, like I said, and I couldn't possibly put all of them through in 1 year. So like we've condensed down and we've made some massive progress with where we've been, but there is still probably, I don't want to be dramatic, but I feel like I'm a dramatic kind of guy. I feel like a lifetime worth of implementation that I've got left. So I'm looking forward to potentially even doing another year of VPN, and then just looking at those month by month kind of blocks that they kind of have things described in, to make even more micro adjustments into the still method and to the other things that they teach, so that we can truly be kind of on top of things rather than under like the stinking rain that keeps coming down as a business owner. So if I were to tell myself, my 2019 self, anything, or anybody else looking to join, like if it fits and it sounds like it's the right thing, you probably need to do it like yesterday, because what they teach and what you can end up implementing is really a long-term like legacy type of process that you can leave for not only your kids, but for anybody that might end up taking over your business. And if you just set it up right, you don't have to have all the bells and whistles and all the fancy cars and all that. You just need to be profitable. That's it. Like, I don't care what you make gross. What matters is what you keep at the end of the month. So anyway, that's kind of what I would say to somebody that's maybe looking into it, or to my younger self.
Well, and again, I think as you guys have joined in with us, and as we have more people for next year, that's been amazing for us and encouraging for us. Seeing as Kristen comes on and shares some of those powerful stories and things that have happened. Now, business isn't, and this year, in real estate and then everything hasn't been up and to the right for most people, right? We've had I don't know, tariffs, we've had all kinds of other things that have affected all of us. And so to be able to have the method or the framework to step into confidence, regardless of shoot, a marketing person leaves or quits on you, or which is a micro kind of black swan event, or tariffs that cause real estate problems, or who knows what. Those things are important to be aware of, but to be able to have that foundational profit planning still method framework, that's what we want to accomplish through PPN. And I'm excited to see where this is going to go. Any closing remarks or anything that you say, hey, I forgot to say this and why PPN is great, or what you want it to be in the future?
I think, well, a couple of things. I think if it intrigues y'all at all, definitely need to reach out, because I'm pretty sure Brandon and Amanda offer different tiers, especially with the new Counterflow website and program that's coming into effect here shortly. So if any of it seems somewhat intriguing, I don't see how any of what they do cannot be applicable to pretty much any business owner. My wife and I have very different businesses from each other, probably opposite. She's like making people look pretty and I'm like buying ugly houses. So,
Right.
but I mean, you can't get more opposite than that, in my opinion. I've even joked with her, like, we should have a billboard with like you, like really nice high end, and me just like in, just dirty, ugly houses. So anyway, but with what they have going on, it's just a framework. It's a process. It doesn't matter what business. It doesn't matter where you're at. Honestly, it's probably more helpful if you're starting out.
That's awesome. Again, I appreciate you guys being early adopters to what PPN is, and us as entrepreneurs starting something and wanting to make a difference. And as you've engaged with YNAB, using the tools, and you've got to meet, Amanda's pretty amazing and knows, I don't know how she does it, but she's able to communicate that in a well, I don't know, orchestrated way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty powerful. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted PPN to exist was, man, I'm more like you, right? And Amanda just has this like Spock thing that goes on, and she can just see things differently. I'm like, man, we need more of those systems in place that she's built. And then being able to have that empathy behind it, because honestly, being a business owner is hard, right? And so I commend you guys, one, for not just running a strong business, but to say, we need to do date night. We need to do those things and understand AI and those things, but having that time with each other, because your kids see that, right? And
Right.
that's more important than any med spa success or a house beautification,
Right.
which you are beautifying a house when you buy it.
Yeah, we do. We don't leave them like we buy them.
There you go. So Joe, thanks for sharing your story. And what I hope listeners take away from this conversation is simple. AI is powerful. Tools are helpful. But if your nervous system is dysregulated, nothing else feels safe, nothing feels clear. And hopefully profit planning gives you the rhythm, the filter, and the confidence to make decisions you actually trust, no matter what's changing in the world, because it's going to. And if you're listening and want to learn more about the next cohort for profit planning, go to livecounterflow.com. And then there's a button at the top says join the wait list. Or if we're past this time, you might be able to say, oh, I want to be a part of it. So livecounterflow.com. And in the top is profit planning. Click on that and fill that out. So until next time, keep moving counter to the chaos and towards clarity that lasts. And I know Joseph would say the same thing, because if you don't have all this chaos is there, but it's more about Joseph and Kristen. It's more about those guys and what they do so they can overflow to the world around them. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Joseph.
Yes, sir.